Now, how about them damn Celtics?
Pavlov's dog. I'm sorry.
You didn't even mute. I could have started if you just muted.
Someone got to shoot me, man. Next time we're at the Garden, just throw me off the balcony, please. Can you leave that in as the intro?
Sure. We are back. Welcome back to another episode of Bout Them Celtics. Whenever we start, I'm going to leave that in, and it's going to throw people off because they're so used to us starting a certain way. Every time we start the show, I hit the record button, and Sam takes a drink of water, but he doesn't mute, so I just hear...
You have to wait.
I just hear like of him clinking open the water bottle, taking a sip, gulping it down, and I'm like, all right, I'll just wait to do the intro so this, people don't have to listen to it, but you got to listen to it today. We're back. Welcome back. How about them Celtics? We're going to go over Celtics-Hawks today, which I don't know if you've looked at the Hawks injury report, and we're recording this obviously before the game. The longest injury report you'll ever see in your life. So we'll see how many of those players actually play. But how you doing, Sam?
I think you've lagged.
Oh, I've had the Wi-Fi symbol for the entire time I've opened StreamYard, so it's very, very possible. I don't even know if you can hear me. I'll try to close as many tabs as I can, but
oh my God. Anytime you have to hit show more on the injury report, that's no good.
Exactly. How you doing today is what I said.
Doing pretty good. Excited for the game later. Weird start time, 7:45, but whatever, we'll do it. And Jalen, I guess we can talk about this before the game. Little concerning that he is now on the second MRI. We did the perk video this morning, but that was the runner-up in discussion. And yeah, Jalen might actually be hurt. Best time of year to get hurt, though, I will say.
Yeah, I wrote about it for Hardwood Houdini, and at the obviously you want Jaylen Brown to play, but the positive spin is Joe Mazzulla, who is a very trust-oriented person, will now get a chance to play Jordan Walsh more, to play Tatum more, to play Xavier Tillman more, and sort of establish whether or not he trusts those guys to be on the floor, which he did say he trusts them. He said, if they're on the floor, I trust them. But just even looking ahead to months from now in the playoffs, you'll get an early look at some of these guys next to the rotation players. So I do think it's a good thing.
Against Atlanta,
that part of it.
Decent so far, too.
Yeah, Atlanta's all right. They won 2 games, lost 4 games, then won last night. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. Celtics playing a lot of teams in the Celtics second night of back-to-back so far this season, but they're making the
Champions League advantage.
It's true. Anyways, let's jump over to our recap of Celtics-Hawks. All right, we are here after the Celtics 123-93 win over the Atlanta Hawks, 30-point victory for Boston in Atlanta. Ironic, since the last time they were in Atlanta, they blew a 30-point lead, as the broadcast was so eager to describe as the game was starting. Jayson Tatum had an electric first half, didn't really have to do much in the second half, went cold in the third, but he didn't even play the fourth, so most of his damage was done by that point. 28 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Big game for Derek White as well, 21, 6, and 6. Pritchard had 18 off the bench. Drew Holiday had a nice performance. Just a good all-around game for the Celtics, shutting down a Hawks team who had a top 10 offense going into the night and only mustered up 93 points. Celtics winning streak is now back up to 3 after the loss to the Pacers, and they are 7-1 on the season.
Equipment manager. Good equipment management is undefeated.
I stretched out my thing so long so you could finish chewing. I wish I did it for 10 more seconds. I'm sorry.
The equipment manager, man. When they do their job right, undefeated, never lost. Actually, it's not true. That's true. Good equipment management, undefeated this year. Only loss came when they fucked around.
Were they wearing white against Pacers?
They were. Disgusting act on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight was a fun game. Tonight was one of those games that you watch it and it reminds you that the Celtics are just a level above the rest. There was a stretch of this game where you're kind of like, this game's probably a little closer than it should be. They probably shouldn't be losing to the Hawks late in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was no longer a game. It was just Tatum started 6 of 9 from 3, finished 6 of 14. But he was on fire to start this. He really couldn't miss. I described it to Jake as I feel like Tatum is my friend with a gambling addiction who would be up $300 at blackjack and then end up even by the time he left. Even though 6 of 14 is not bad. It's 43%. That's pretty good for 3. But it just looks it looks jarring after you know how well he started. But overall, very well-rounded game from him too. 28 points, only 1 turnover with 9 assists is always a good
Mhm.
thing with Tatum. He is a very efficient passer for the most part. Had a pair of steals. Good job on the glass. Just the game that you needed from him in a spot without Jaylen. That's very good for the Celtics. He continues to just be solid. It wasn't a game that made you scratch your head. Only 3 free throws for him today, which was a little odd compared to what we've seen in recent days.
Uh-huh.
But what are you going to do?
Excuse me. I mean, I do think Tatum started the game better. Like he made more of a point to not just chuck up stuff to start the game. He was making a
His first one
uh
was a step back. I was devastated.
yeah, even though his first one was step back, but it did seem like he settled into things a little bit. He was working inside. He obviously, like, most of his shots are going to be threes. I think people have to come to terms with that. Unfortunately, as much as you and I might disagree with it, it just seems like the trend. But this reminded I also think people just have to come to the consensus and settle in and accept the fact that he's just a streaky shooter. He just is. That's just I think that is just what he's going to be. I don't think there is anything wrong with that. Some players are just streaky, and he's streaky. And tonight the streak was good.
Good point.
The important part is when he is not streaky or when he is not on and the streak is off, he needs to be self-aware, maybe cut out a few of them, and or focus on other parts of the game, which I mean, he's been awesome this season, so it is what it is. But yeah, 28, 6 and 9 with 1 turnover is pretty damn good. Had a nice steal in there mixed in as well. Derek White had I would say, relatively rocky start in Derek White standards for this game. He had a few bad pass turnovers, a couple fouls. But by the time the fourth quarter came around, he was Derek White again. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 offensive rebounds, along with 2 steals and a block, 8 of 16, 4 and 9. I stand by it. It is inevitable. It is never going to stop happening. There are few players in the league who look as comfortable with the ball in their hands as Derek White does. And it is because not only does he know his spots and knows where he has to and needs to and wants to be, but they are the same spots. It is, I'm going to catch the ball and shoot it from the corner of the wing after a pass. I'm going to get to the middle of the floor and take a floater. I am going to, find the guy on the roll out of the pick and roll with a little pass in between the two defenders. Like he knows exactly what works for him, and it's great every single time. And so shout out Derek White for another just inevitably consistent performance.
That's what he does. That's what he brings to this team is consistency. Even when he's off, he finishes shooting 50% from the field, 44% from 3. The floater he made in fourth quarter was pretty crazy. Went over the top of it didn't travel over the top of the backboard, but it went higher than the entire structure. Like it was a serious floater.
It was the one Grant tried to do against the Hornets, except it went in.
Sorry, Grant. Should we try and bake a Grant strain to every single podcast this year?
Oh, we could try. We can make jokes. We could try our best.
Forget. we'll have mashed potato brain in a week and forget. But no, Derek White continues to be nothing but solid for the Celtics. I think the point about him having the ball in his hands and really feeling comfortable doing so is so important for this team, especially with Jaylen out. We have no timeline on when Jaylen's going to be back. He was shooting around before the game, but he could miss some significant time. Not that it's going to be like a lingering problem when the playoffs roll around, but like he may need like a week or 2 or 3 off. And that's okay because the Celtics are built for that. They have everybody. They have the Avengers. When it's not Derek White, it's Peyton Pritchard. It's Drew. I mean, those two guys combined for 34 points together. Drew and Peyton Pritchard. What a game.
Yeah.
Great guard play.
I mean, you want Pritchard or Drew next? Where do you want to go?
You can go points. So go ahead, Pritchard.
Okay. Yeah, Pritchard rocks.
Hilarious.
He's just kind of awesome, dude. And this wasn't even like some otherworldly shooting performance. He was 3 of 8, but he was 7 of 12, meaning he was 4 of 4 on the 2s he takes, which is usually the opposite. Usually he struggles a little bit when he gets in there. But 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. I think that's on the broadcast. He's the favorite to win 6th Man of the Year now. He's just awesome. Like he is just the prototypical scoring, bucket getting 6-man. But on top of that, he's capable of playing off the ball, which for while Lou Will and some of those other guys were able to do, like not at this level, not at this catch and shoot 3-point level, right? And on top of that, the Hawks went at him on defense, and obviously he's gonna get back down. He's getting a shot over a little bit. He stood up pretty damn well. He was pushing those guys out of the paint. He was holding the tide till help came over, or they were at a point where the help was ready to block the shot or contest it around the rim. He's just a damn good player. I saw a stat on Twitter, and it was something along the lines of like someone was texting their buddy, and it was like last year through X amount of games, he was 130 minutes, 22 points, had only made like 2 or 3 threes. This year he's played 130 minutes. He's got 110 points and he's made 29 of 66 threes. Just insanity.
Yeah, and he came into this game in the first quarter on a burner. I think he came in, made like a really tough layup. Next possession comes down, drills a three. He's just hilarious to watch when he's cooking. Like, there's some of the shots that he makes are laughably good. And that is not something you can say for a lot of bench guys in the NBA. He makes like Tatum level shots at times. The way he's able to create from the 3-point line is really something that the Celtics shouldn't take for granted, because it's not often you have somebody that isn't even in your starting lineup that can do this kind of thing. And the fact that he's not being exploited as a liability on defense is a blessing. Or not even a blessing, but like just a testament to the kind of player he is, to where he's willing to get down. He's going to be gritty. He's going to battle. He's going to be scrappy. And these guys can't really abuse him quite like they wish that they could, or they think that they can, because he just looks like some dude they plucked off the street because they need an extra guy on the roster. At the end of the day, he is a very good NBA player. We were somewhat sharp to it before the season started, talking about the award predictions. And we were like, well, just because I am so narrow visioned when it comes to those things, I'm like, well, Peyton Pritchard feels like he should have a shout. I don't think either of us expected him to have the amount of responsibility he's had this year. But even with that, like, he has jumped over everybody's expectations. And that's awesome.
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard is ridiculous. It is the shots that Jayson Tatum takes that we are like, oh gosh, what is this? I want Peyton Pritchard to take.
Yes.
That is where we are at this point in time, which is wild. Drew Holiday, though, I thought was super, super important in this game too. 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists is nothing to like, oh my God, this is otherworldly. And he only shot 2 of 6 from 3. But the shots he made, the block he had, and the plays he made came at a big point in the game. I thought like that second quarter, when things were still a little bit tight early on.
Correct.
Tatum went to the bench. The Celtics offense looked a little rough. Joe Mazzulla needed a timeout. Drew Holiday was there, got a nice block, got it out to Sam Hauser in transition. Just made some nice plays that sort of settled the Celtics in after a pretty rough stretch. And that's kind of when the tides turned and never looked back for the Hawks, who just couldn't find any answers after that. So Drew Holiday, for as much as his stat line was whatever, it is more points than he scores normally, but still, this was a very impactful night for Drew.
What's great is we all forget that Drew Holiday can do this because he's just not asked to do this. I mean, he didn't really take any extra shots today. He was just more efficient. Like, he shot 7 of 11. You're just going to have a better night. If that's your stat line, you just are. But last season, when guys miss games, I think Tatum missed the Kings game in Sacramento last year. And De'Aaron Fox off to this burner of a start. Drew Holiday comes in, and he's like the Tatum and the boys, but he's Tatum in that lineup. And he keeps the Celtics in it, helps them break the game open, and they eventually blow the doors off the Kings. He was doing this for the Bucks. We talked about it not long ago. He had a 50 ball on somebody the season before he came to the Celtics. He had 40 on the Celtics that year. He's still capable of giving guys buckets, and we all forget that because he's just not asked to do that for the Celtics. He's just go stand there, play defense, shoot your corner threes, occasionally cut and get to the rim. That's all they need from him. It's such a luxury that the Celtics have this guy who's an all-star caliber player that they don't ask to do anything.
Yeah. Drew Holiday is awesome. Al Horford, too, in this game. Just sort of an all-around do-everything game for Al. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Had a nifty reverse whatever finish around the rim.
The clip of that from the playback is going to be crazy because Jake and I, it was one of those moments where we were like, whoa!
The bench got hyped, too. The Celtics bench. Yeah, Horford was great in this game. Did a good job of
hold his back on that play.
He just did a little bit of everything. There was nothing like, oh my God, he was outstanding in this category. He was outstanding in this category. He just kind of was really good all around. And on a night where we can talk about this too, the rest of the Celtics bigs looked bad. It was much needed.
Good for Nemi, taking advantage of the opportunity. This is 3 of 4 games where he's been the best of the 3.
Yeah, but I don't think Nemi was very good tonight either.
He was fine. Statistically, he was fine.
I thought all 3 of them did a really bad job of playing defense. I was saying Al Horford was good on a night where they needed it, not Nemi.
Not for these big guys were getting thrown hospital lobs, by the way. These guards were just saying, good luck, buddy.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Pick also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sam and I use Prize Picks on the pregame show every single time. We love picking more on turnovers for opposing players. We love picking more on Jayson Tatum points, on Drew Holiday threes, on Al Horford threes. It's our favorite time of the show. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. But it wasn't even about that. Nemi had 10 and 7, right? He was fine. It's not like he was awful in this game, but the way he was defending was a mess. Like he was getting cooked in the pick and roll. He was getting blown by other defenders. Like he still cannot guard a drive to save his life. Just cannot guard the drive.
To you as a big guy.
It wasn't even Trae Young. It was like Jalen Johnson
and pick and rolls.
Forwards.
Yeah, but like that situation he is put in with Trae.
No, I'm saying straight drives. I'm saying the guy has the ball at the top of the key. Nemi is on him. Jalen Johnson driving to the hoop. Nemi gets completely turned around and the guy gets a layup. Like again, Nemi was fine in this game, but just serious defensive spacing issues still pop up every once in a while. Tillman's confidence is gone, evaporated, just out the window. That is not there.
So apparent.
Hopefully he gets it back because he's still a good player, but right now he is just completely in its head. And then Luke Cornett was just kind of like whatever in this game. Nemi was definitely the best of the 3. It was still just like that dude, the first quarter and even like dripping into the second, like Nemi got pulled after 4 minutes. He got yanked because he couldn't defend. So it was just a rough night for the backup bigs. It is what it is. They won by 30, so it's not the end of the world. But this was a good reminder that should all be very grateful for Al Horford still being in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Tillman. And this also felt like a pseudo night off for Cornette.
Yeah, it's just kind of not needed. He played 15 minutes, but it was just whatever. He's fine on the board. From 3, a little bit wonky in this game. 2 or 3 from 2-point range. I didn't notice him being terrible from 3 for a lot of the game. Just, he's just cold to start the season. I don't know. I don't really have any in-depth thoughts on him.
We're seeing his extended bag a little bit. We're seeing him go to his left on drives. Like that's pretty impressive. And he doesn't look stupid doing it like Grant used to do when he used to try and drive closeouts. Like Hauser looks legitimately good at getting downhill after guys close out on him. And that's really going to be a weapon for him because I mean, I don't think guys are going to second guess the decision to close out on Sam Hauser. So that might be there for him every once in a while.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Good for Hauser. Springer, Shireman, JD Davison.
So Springer plays good defense.
He does.
He just can't score, man.
He can't do anything else.
No. I mean, he had 2 steals. He had a really big boy rebound. Made a dunk.
Baylor Shireman, for what it's worth, also can't do anything.
What did you think of Shireman just firing from the logo, like the arena logo?
Cool. Fuck it. Why not? Right? Like,
I didn't care, but Jake was like, "That's weird. Like, why is he doing that?"
It is probably.
How's he pulling that?
The way he carries himself, it was probably part confidence and part the coach was saying, "Go get one," or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine he would just say, "Like, fuck you all. I'm
also
do this." Like,
not for nothing. Drew Carter, big insult stat when he said the dunk was Springer's first basket of the year. You didn't need to say that. You're 8 games in. You don't have to be like first points of the year. Congratulations to the team manager for getting himself on the board.
It was. How about Trae Young getting erased from the face of the planet?
That's what the stock exchange does to you, dude. He invested in the wrong stocks and he just got bankrupt. Like that's what happened.
Apparently, man. Jesus. Jalen Johnson, though, looks pretty good outside of his
he looks great
turnovers.
He had a really sick pass that was like a pocket alley-oop he threw. And I was like, wait, what? He just did that? The
Yeah,
Hawks
I don't
have
know.
some
Sorry,
like fun prospects. Reese Shea was fun to watch for a little bit.
he's cool. He had that nice
Kind of
little
funny that they had him out
wraparound
there in garbage
layup.
time.
Mm-hmm. David Roddy actually looked pretty all right to me. He was making some nice cuts. It was nothing crazy, but he was another guy who I was like, oh, he's doing something, right? And for what it's worth, as much as Jayson Tatum just objectively cooked him, I really do like Desmond Daniel's game. Like I do think he's a good player. I think he's a stocky defender. I think he's a menace. If those threes fall, he'll be a good player. But
I mean, he could have a role on a team like a Derek White or Drew Holiday someday. It's
yeah,
just got to get the offensive game a little sharper. Even in this game, he wasn't bad. 4 of 9 from the field. He just doesn't take any threes.
I will say we are starting to see some Derek White, Drew Holidays pop up. Jalen Suggs being the prime example. Dude's baller, and it is just the same exact like niche of player. He's really good, but
The Nets might beat the Grizzlies.
I have it on right here. Jaren Jackson just made a bank 3, step back over Jalen Wilson, banked glass to bring him within 2.
So
and then Jalen Wells just blocked a drive as well. That would have been a Nick Claxton dunk. So it's Nets ball, 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Anyways, shot clock. 7 seconds left on the game. 7.6 left on this. Anyways, we'll wrap this up and do that in our own time. But yeah, Celtics win to the rest of the show. All right, welcome back. Let's jump right into the email. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Again, sorry if I lag at all. My Wi-Fi symbol is killing me at the moment for no reason.
You're clear.
RJ says, make new friends. Morning, folks. It's always better to build bridges than burn them. Just ask Grant Williams or Sam, who seems to be building his network with the 2008 at the time, 2008 Celtics, I should say. First Doc, now Perk. Who's next, Sam? Leon Poe or your namesake, Coach Sam Cassell? Is this the kind of inside access we love from HBTC? Be well, RJ, who still can't get Coach Missoula to return my phone calls. I don't know if friend would be the word I would use for Perk and Sam. Doc, perhaps, but
I think Perk is like in the stage of a misunderstanding that will start a friendship. Because I didn't write the thing about him. I just thought it was funny that the player was like, fuck this guy.
I think Perk is going to forever associate you with that in
That's
a bad way.
I don't think he'll remember me.
I do not.
I changed that profile picture on Twitter. I'm a new man.
Did you already?
No. I said if I do though.
Yes.
Watch out.
Thank you, RJ, for the email again. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Make sure to send us an email there and we'll check in with you guys. But speaking of check in, let's check out the NBA standings. Obviously, it's only been a little bit since the last one we did, so there's probably not too much new going on, but we can see at least where things are shifting. It's always interesting early in the year because one game can take you from 5th place to last place, so we might as well keep an eye on it. Let's see, I'll share a screen for the YouTube viewers real quick here.
The Bucks.
Yeah. Not even tied for last. Like just dead last by themselves.
Dead last. Pistons looking down, spitting on the Bucks as they should. Pistons big win over the Nets yesterday. And we'll go back to the Bucks. I'm seeing more and more coming out of there that this team doesn't get along. Dame and Giannis don't like playing together. I'm sure Doc doesn't really help, even though he's a nice guy. He's probably a little bit past his prime coaching where he's in touch with the players and all that stuff. Now you're getting rumors that they're going to trade some of the young guys on this team. There's really just a lot of weird things going on in Milwaukee. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The turmoil is happening far too earlier in the season where Chris Middleton's not even there yet. Like he hasn't even played. You don't even have your starting lineup yet, and you guys are already at each other's throats. Like
you say yet
to get better.
You say yet as if he's definitely going to return, and I'm skeptical at this point.
You don't think he's ever going to play again, or is it just?
No, I'm just being an ass. He'll probably play eventually, but it is definitely not ideal that he has not played 6 games into the season already. They're a mess. The Phillies a mess, obviously, because they're missing players, and we'll talk about Philly a little bit more later. The Wizards are even 2-3, both of their wins coming against the Hawks. But Bilal Coulibaly, I don't know if you've seen his stats, Sam, but he looks like a monster. So it looks like
he was
David
a fun prospect last year at the draft.
He was, but like, so excuse me, rookie season he averaged 8-4-2 ish on 44-35 splits so far this year. Again, only 5 games, but he's averaging 19-6-2 on 61-47 splits. So pretty good start to the season for Bilal Coulibaly, who they like very much.
Yeah, it's funny that him and Jarris Walker were traded for each other, and they both essentially redshirted their rookie year where they didn't get much opportunity.
Bilal played a lot. He played 27 minutes tonight.
27 minutes. Okay. Well, he didn't really get the numbers like you mentioned.
Sure.
Now he's taking a leap. You didn't hear much about Coulibaly last year, so much so that I thought he redshirted. But Jarris Walker very much did redshirt, and now is going to be taking on more of a role with the Pacers as these guys on the Pacers just continue to get hurt.
I guess once they get hurt, but
so?
he's still only played 9 minutes a game.
Well, but like now you've had 2 centers tear their Achilles this season. Miles Turner is going to miss games. There should be some opportunity for Jarris Walker to at least get out there and see what it's like to play in an NBA game.
It's true. I guess we'll see. I am skeptical, but I don't know. The Jarris Walker thing's weird. I liked him coming out of the draft too. It's just odd. I don't really know what's going on there. But
it's kind of funny that a lot of these teams in the East are all pretty mediocre record-wise so far.
I mean, look at the point differential. Everyone has a negative point.
Let me see. They all have negative. Oh yeah,
except for the
top 4, all negative.
Yeah. Cleveland, Boston, New York, and Miami all have positive point differentials, and everyone else's is negative. And the next best after that top 4 is the Nets with a negative 0.05 or negative 0.5. Excuse me. The Nets are good though, man. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win a million games, but I say this every time, and I keep seeing stuff on Twitter. I keep watching them, and they're just like, they're a fine basketball team. They're just going to be the Jazz from a few years ago. Like, they have a good coach. They have fine rotational players. Dennis Schroeder's playing like a D'Angelo Russell Nets era-esque star, quote unquote. Like, he's putting up those numbers. Cam Thomas is a scorer. Like, they're just a fine team. And again, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to do anything crazy, but they're going to win enough games to where they're not 15th in the East, which is better than a lot of people thought they were going to be going into the year. So,
and as you guys listen to this pod, the standings will be different because literally every team plays today.
Yes, so this will not be the right standings by the time you see this, but this is what we have in front of us now. Out west, Thunder still 6-0. Cavs are 7-0, by the way. Crazy win over the Bucks. The heartbreaker for Milwaukee.
It's a real shame. I saw it on the timeline. I thought it should have been flagged for sensitive content because it was really mean to post that.
Suns are 5-1. Warriors are 5-1. Mavs and Lakers are both 4-2. Grizzlies 4-3. You can just see the difference in talent from the West and the East, man. So the first below 500 team in the East is 6th. Also, the Magic have fallen off a little bit. And the first below 500 team in the West is 11th. So a pretty large difference. Literally every single team in the Western Conference has 3 or more wins outside of the Clippers, Blazers, and Jazz.
Very tough. It's kind of funny how well some of these teams have started, though. Like Phoenix and Golden State are teams I don't really think either one of us were super high on going into the year. Phoenix certainly got better. They added Tyus Jones. They brought in Monte Morris. They actually have point guards on their team this year compared to last year when it was like, hey, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, you go out there and figure it out. Golden State loses Curry and continues to be a competitive team. Buddy Hield has gone there and balled out. He fits right into the splash team, I guess. That's what the Warriors are now. And they're like, this guy shoots all the threes. He can come play for us. He's going to play well. Man, the West is going to be a bloodbath again this year. I don't envy these teams like Houston, like Sacramento, like San Antonio. They're probably going to try and be pushing to compete and get in the play-in this year because there are just so many teams in the way. The West is not where you want to be in your upswing of your rebuild because it's just so hard to get over that hump now.
Yeah, it's tough, man. The West is impossible. It is not an easy thing. Excuse me, sorry, the hiccups to compete in. And like you said, it's a very big benefit to be in the Eastern Conference this year. But Basketball season is back, and I could not be more excited. Getting to watch my favorite team live in person is my favorite time of the year, and I get all of my tickets on Game Time. Game Time is the perfect app to use for all of your ticketing needs. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It brings the best prices, the best deals for you to go watch live basketball right to the front. But it's more than basketball season. The Patriots are back, and the Chargers are coming to town very, very soon, and it looks like you can get a great deal to that game. Justin Herbert going to come to Gillette Stadium to hopefully play Drake May. He did get the start recently, so that should be a very, very fun quarterback matchup as well. My favorite part of the app is the fact that you can filter out the fees, you can look at the best deals, and it highlights what it believes are going to be the best deals for you to get the exact type of ticket you want. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, everything you want. I saw Noah Khan over the summer. I use Game Time to get my tickets. All-in pricing is another part that I absolutely love about the app. Toggling the feature shows the exact total upfront. Like I said, filters out the fees, tells you what you're paying with everything included. It is perfect. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Moving on to the next thing is Joel Embiid, which it's been a while since we've done a pod, but Joel Embiid, I don't know what the word is, punched, shoved. You've seen a lot of different things on Twitter. Basically, what we've seen is Marcus Hayes wrote an article for I don't know what site it was for, but
I almost want to say Philadelphia Inquirer, but I'm not certain.
Maybe. He's a columnist, and he wrote an article basically calling on Embiid for never playing, and he said, you want to do right by your dead brother and your son, play games. And one, just to get ahead of it, fucked, right? Like, not journalistically.
And that is verbatim quote.
Yeah,
what you just said.
Yeah. He name dropped both of those guys and said play.
That's crazy, man.
Let me find the actual quote because I don't want to like say that was exactly verbatim, but it is effectively what he said. Like
that is
I
the
am
content
not like
of the article. Jack,
I'm not embellishing it. Yeah, I'm not embellishing it. He said, let's see. I pasted here. Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son Arthur as a major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great to lead for the boy named who is in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year. Well, to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work.
That's like so mean for no reason.
It's awful. It's the equivalent of that Karl Anthony Towns article that basically just said he's goofy, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Like
it's just, it really is.
Absolute dog shit journalism. He like should not be allowed to write that. And so Joel Embiid first off called him out, basically said, I see Marcus isn't here. Like, that was where the context of I do too much for the city. So I get it a little bit more. It was a funny turn of phrase, and out of context, you're like, what the hell? But like in the context of he wasn't talking to the fans. He was talking to a journalist saying like slandering him like that. I get it.
Hateful towards me.
Exactly. I get it a little bit more now. But then apparently Marcus Hayes was in the locker room a few days later, which bold to show up after you heard him call you out. And apparently Joel Embiid came in, got in a verbal altercation and punched / shoved him. There's a bunch of like different words going around. No one really knows, but he got in his way and then effectively said something to the tune of, you know, if you're going to talk shit about my brother, my dead brother and my son, then I'm going to, you know, bring it back on you regardless of the consequences. And it's like, you know what? Fair. Sure. I kind of back it.
The NBA equivalent of the Will Smith thing, except it was probably more justified than the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
And it was just a crazy moment to be on Twitter on Saturday more than anything, because the initial tweet comes out, which comes from Keith Pompey, who we don't have tweet notifications on like Shams or formerly Woj, and hits a couple group chats. And you're like, oh my God, this actually happened. And then Keith replies and says he punched him. And then that gets taken down. So the conclusion is that the Sixers PR team is out there going crazy. And mind you, this Marcus Hayes article came out like probably 3-4 weeks ago. It's not like super duper recent where it's fresh. I do remember coming out. The consensus online was that, yeah, don't say this stuff. It's kind of lame and really across the line. You don't really need to do that. So the dots were not being connected right away. But once everything came out, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the reporter can get bent." Like Embiid deserved to be able to kind of take his frustrations out on that. It was pretty over the line, pretty malicious. I mean, I make fun of people all the time. I don't act super mean about it. I'll write articles about people or say they shouldn't take shots that they take, and that's really about it. Don't need to go off the court to do that.
Yeah, like I said, you don't have to push someone. Like it should never resort to that. But if there was a time and if someone did deserve it, I understand wanting to push someone who talks shit about your son and your dead brother.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
In fairness, like when I was in college, they never did say don't write about dead relatives.
Yeah, it's just such a fucked up thing, man. It just he shouldn't be allowed in the locker
No
room. You
common sense.
can't.
No
That's
common
the thing. Like,
decency.
you can write columns. You shouldn't be allowed in the locker room though. If you're like saying shit like that, like if you are that egregiously shitting on people, like there's a difference between saying this guy looked lazy, this guy did this, like this guy's not trying. Like if you're talking about, like if you were writing about Ben Simmons when he was in Philly, and you were like, it's ridiculous he's not playing, like he needs to be on the court. That's one thing, right? Talking about the guy is one thing. You can even write that about Joel Embiid. Like it's why isn't he playing? He needs to be on the court. It doesn't make any sense what's happening. Blah blah blah. But as soon as you start saying like, I thought you were doing this for your dead brother. Like, there's like a line that is so clear for anyone who's not even in the field of journalism to see. It's just like, Jesus, man, what the fuck?
Like
It's
it almost
unbelievable.
feels like fake. Like it's like an "I think you should leave" sketch where he just
Mhm.
was like, "Let me go all in on trying to roast Embiid so people get behind me," and it just goes so wrong. Where he's brought back to reality with that. Good for Embiid, man. You shouldn't let anybody talk about you. And to his point, kind of about he's done too much for Philly. Like Embiid's been the ultimate Philly guy. Whether or not they actually win in the playoffs is another story, and it's kind of minute in terms of the respect he has earned from not only the media but the fan base too. And yeah, the article is kind of off where it should be. Definitely should not be calling out dead family members. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, next thing is Kevin Durant and Stephen A. Smith got beef, and I'm gonna let Sam explain because I do not know what this is.
So Kevin Durant did an interview with The Athletic. He is sick and tired of some of the talking heads in the media, and nobody is he sick with more than Stephen A. Smith. This is a direct quote from Durant to The Athletic. Doug Haller wrote this article. Durant says, "Yeah, Stephen A. I don't understand how people even listen to Stephen A. I've been in the league for 18 years. I've never seen Stephen A at a practice or a film session or a shoot around. I've never seen him anywhere but on TV talking shit about players. He's a clown to me. He's always been a clown. You can write that too." And Durant kind of went on social media this week and kind of called out Stephen A before this because of a first take segment. So this is a follow up to it. But there have been back and forths with Durant and Stephen A before. And Stephen A is kind of notorious for going on TV now and just saying whatever. Like the Jalen thing happened earlier this year as the Celtics were in the playoffs, and Stephen A was saying he's a bad teammate, he's bad to be around, like whatever. And I don't really think that's the vibe any of us that are around the team get. And Jalen certainly didn't agree. And he went on Stephen A's show and told him so. So for Durant to continue to be the funniest guy in the NBA and just straight up do an interview with The Athletic, call Stephen A clown, and then just double down and say, you can write this, is perfect Kevin Durant stuff. Like, this is why I am over the top excited to see him in the Starting Five documentary, because Kevin Durant is the man.
Yeah, and Stephen A. responded to this on First Take or whatever ESPN show he was on, and he said, "Let me find it because it was this is how I like briefly saw it." He said, "I will not disrespect him the same way he disrespects me. It's unfortunate that no matter how old he gets, his sensitivity seems to heighten with it, and his maturity doesn't. But that's something he has to deal with, not me. He's a treasure to the game of basketball. I love seeing him play, and sincerely wish that he doesn't get swept in the playoffs like he has to the last few years." Dude, to go from "I will not disrespect him in the same way" to saying like multiple disrespectful things is a clown move, and I can only imagine Stephen A. knew what he was doing. Also,
He
though,
knew. Stephen A. is
also,
fire in Stephen A.'s like respect. Like in his own lane, he's fire. He's the
I
best at his job. I'm done.
I forever and always can never do the pump fakes. I can't. Also, just while we're here, the pump fakes when I'm trying to edit TikToks make me want to jump off a bridge.
Oh shit, my bad.
No, I know. I don't actually care. Talk for you. You just very much talk for long form content, which is good because we do long form content. But I'm editing out like little gaps in between like 4 different words of the same sentence.
Sorry.
And I'm sitting there. No. It's not something to apologize for or something to change. It is just very funny that like the audio files you see on like the premiere is like talk, break, talk, break, talk, break. I'm like, shit. But what I was saying is, I feel like always the biggest gripe or criticism of Kevin Durant is that he's sensitive, and I think that's the biggest bullshit I've seen in my life. He's only called sensitive because he likes to talk his shit back when people talk shit about him. It's just other players don't feel the need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like people will talk shit about his decision to do this, decision to do that, his the way he does stuff, and he's like, "Fuck you! Like I do what I want." Like
Yeah, he's also like
shouldn't give a shit.
hilarious about it.
Exactly. So like I don't think sensitive like also I feel like calling someone sensitive as an insult is like an 80s like shut the fuck up. That's stupid.
Oh man, he's so sensitive that he came back and roasted me back. The best Kevin
Yeah.
Durant responses are when he tells people to fucking go to work. He's like, "Go into your fucking
it's
job
so
today,
dumb.
you loser."
I don't think it's sensitivity. I think it's just like he enjoys talking his shit back as well. Like you know what I'm saying? Like whatever. Who cares? Let him talk. If you're gonna talk shit, aren't you sensitive too? You know what I'm saying? Like if someone talked shit about
Stephen
you,
A. is sensitive for even
would you
responding.
Exactly. It's so lame. I think that's
They're gonna have a sensitive off
insult.
because we're gonna see who the most sensitive is. Whoever gets the last word is the most sensitive because the other person didn't need to respond after.
Yeah. So right now, KD is the least less sensitive one because he has not responded to the response. So who actually wins? Last NBA thing before we jump out of here, or not out of here, but they're atlas. Gregg Popovich is dealing with some health issues. Apparently, Shams tweeted, Spurs coach Gregg Popovich suffered a health issue before Saturday's game, and assistant Mitch Johnson, is expected to be the interim head coach for an indefinite period. And then the San Antonio Express News reported Pop will not be with the Spurs during the 2-game road trip that starts Monday in LA against Clippers and ends on Wednesday in Houston. The club announced Monday morning. Assistant coach Mitch Johnson will serve as an interim coach for an indefinite period. The 75-year-old coach sat out Saturday night's home game against Minnesota due to an undisclosed illness. The league source said Pop is, quote, okay, and that he, quote, just needs rest. So that's a good thing. But Popovich is, like I said, 75. So any sort of this that could lead to a retirement or, God forbid, worse is not fun to see because Pop is the GOAT.
Yeah. You don't want to see anybody being sick, especially Popovich. I mean, the question of whether or not he should start to consider retirement is really the big takeaway from this. Like at 75, do you really need to be jumping around the country and traveling from city to coach basketball games? I don't know. I don't know what the age limit on that is. I'm not a doctor. I'm too stupid to tell you. I got to tell you, it can't be much older than 75. You can't be that old just running around coaching games. I don't know. I guess anybody that's an NBA coach has that kind of love, passion, desire to be around the game. But also, like, you don't want to just, like, chill.
He's also the oldest head coach in NBA history. So,
yeah.
That's some context right there. And he was also the oldest head coach when he was 72. So this is a current.
He's the oldest head coach every year.
Yeah, he's breaking his own record every day, really. So
we have breaking news. Matt Ryan signs with the Knicks. Former Celtic.
Yep. Matt Ryan signs with the Knicks. Ariel Hookporty, who was on a 2-way contract and was the last pick in the draft, also signing with the Knicks. or off the two-way he was on with the Knicks, just signing a full contract. But they're filling those roster spots that they literally had to fill by around now. So Matt Ryan and Hook Porty are getting those spots. They drafted Matt Ryan in the G League draft to get his rights. Same thing with Landry Shamet, who's rehabbing now. I think they like him too. So Matt Ryan will be in an NBA jersey again. It sucked that he wasn't with the Pelicans past last year because he was really good for them, man, when he was getting minutes.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Ryan has really played pretty decent with every team he's been a part of. Even when he got time with the Celtics, I remember him being okay for the 15th guy on the bench. And then he goes to the Lakers, has a couple big games, has a game winner, plays well with the Pelicans, and gets hurt. That sucks, man. Like, this is a dude that was literally doing DoorDash a year before he signed with the Celtics. Like, it's good to see him keep ending up with teams.
I agree. All right. Ratless, Sam, what do you have?
Ratless is Twitter. The reason why Twitter is my favorite thing ever, but Ratless Twitter because for whatever reason, this is not just happening to me today. It's happened to me other times too. I went to edit my jersey reaction tweet today because my dumbass wrote their games of serious ball in a row with 3 question marks when I meant to say 3 games of serious ball in a row. And I went to edit it and it just says edit can't be made, retry, and just keeps giving you the same message. If I pay to be able to edit my tweets, it should work.
How long after? Was it like really soon after?
Yeah, it was not over an hour because I know they say you have an hour to do it.
I don't know if this is true, but I think there is something. I think the video. I don't know if you can edit tweets with video. I think that might be the issue. I'm not 100% sure, but that would be my guess.
Well, but it should still work. I pay for it. I can still make a typo on a video, even if they have to review it to see if the change is harmful, which I get. Now I just look like an idiot. These are probably my best performing tweets.
I'm guessing. I don't actually know. I'm guessing. Rat list. Ooh, I had it. Oh, this isn't really a rat list, just a story. I might like reading now, and that's weird. I we had book club last night for the book, and I started this book Friday, and I didn't finish it. It was like 290 pages. I did get to page 260 in what, like 2 days, like not bad for 3 days. Like I kind of grinded, and I was on page 70 going into yesterday. So I read like 190 pages yesterday.
You put up Wilt numbers yesterday.
I was grinding. It was a good book though. It like the story of the Premier League, a lot of Liverpool stuff, so you'd probably find it interesting. A lot of stuff about like the origins of it, how it worked. There was a tidbit about owners buying certain teams. Like it was really interesting. Like I'd recommend. It's called The Club if anybody's interested in the Premier League, but I liked it. And just so you know how I got spun, pick the dinner. If you
yes.
For who has to pick the next book club book.
Oh no.
I had to pick it. I did pick a book that I'm actually excited to read. It's called The Midnight Library. I can read the like synopsis of it. It is find it on Amazon. This is what it said for the like little thing. Basically, it is like a science fiction fantasy thing. So it's like somewhere on the edge of the universe, a library that contains an infinite number of books, each one that tells a story of a different reality. One tells the story of your life as it is, and every other book is the life you could have lived had you made a different decision at any point in your life. So it's like the butterfly effect. Like, I don't know. I thought it sounded interesting. So that's what we're reading. I'm excited to read it. It gets here today. And like, it is weird that I am like excited to read a book because that hasn't been the case for 10 plus years.
That sounds like a great movie I would see if it was a movie.
Yeah. Well, the crazy part is when I was searching for books, I also saw another book that I thought looked interesting, and I ordered an extra book that is nothing to do with book club, which is really fucked. Like it's just a point in my life that I did not expect to be going to.
Who knows? Maybe I'll like read books again. Not right now. I like playing Xbox. Well, actually, right now.
That's what I would have said X amount of weeks ago. I also like playing Xbox. I'm playing COD, although it makes me want to get angry.
Yeah, Ratless is 2K, man. These kids that play 2K are the worst people on the planet. Some of them just, man, running back and forth over screens. I feel like I'm stuck in quicksand. When I like the thought of playing 2K is so much better than actually playing 2K. Because then, like, you think about it, like, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna play with my friends. We're gonna have fun. No, you never have fun. You only have fun if you're like
No.
on the game for 10 hours a day, so you know how to play the game at such a high level. Like, I legitimately think that there is something to looking at the way people play 2K to see how you should operate an NBA offense at times. Just because if you looked at how seriously, if you looked at how people played 2K like 7 years ago and you started to apply that then, you would get Missoula ball. That's what it is. You're passing up and trying to draw people into the paint to kick out and get as many open threes as you can. That's what people on 2K do because there's much more perfection in a video game than there is in real life.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's
It's
just really
easier.
hard. And it doesn't resemble real basketball, and it's not as fun as you would think. That's my rat
No.
list.
2K is pain in the ass. Small, like pointless rat list, but I went to the grocery store before this and I forgot the bags. Like we have like reusable grocery
Yeah.
store bags. And so I'm like, I walked down to the train stop, which is like 2 minutes from my house. And I get down there and I realize I don't have the bags and I'm like, shit. And so I look at the schedule for the train on my phone. It goes arriving in 1 minute. I'm like, fuck. So I don't have time to go get the bag. So I just get there and I'm like, I know they'll have bags and they're 5 cents. So it's whatever. But it was just the moment in time of like, shit, I'm an idiot. Like this is the
Right.
one thing that I need to remember to bring with me to go to the grocery store. And I did not bring it.
Oh, I completely agree. I hate minor inconveniences like that more than anything. That's why we have this
Yeah.
part of the show.
Yeah. Not fun.
I think I bitched about the traffic on Saturday's show. When I was getting off the highway to go to Devon's to watch college football, I was in far too much traffic. It would like so the highway I'm on comes off. It's like the branch highway, whatever, and it just goes on to it's called Post Road. You probably have one in your town.
Mm-hmm.
When I say this road is so poorly designed, because I can't stress enough that those lights solely cause the traffic. And this was traffic that you'd think someone got in a serious car accident in. And it's just, oh, you got to the second light, there's no more traffic. It must have been 25 minutes from where I should go, get off the highway to where I needed to turn. That is usually a 3-minute drive.
Mhm.
I shit you not. Also, another rat list. Crossing guards. Hear me out. Hear me out.
No, I
Hear me
agree.
out. Hear me out.
No, I agree. You don't
I
have to.
despise crossing guards. And
Yes.
I understand. I'm not saying they shouldn't have them at schools because you should. It is on the crossing guards to operate as a crossing guard properly. I was
Yes.
driving somewhere on Friday, and as I'm driving past a school area, they stop everybody at an intersection to cross a family. Fine.
Sure. Yeah.
The problem is that they did this during a green light, and by the time that they were done crossing them, the light had turned red. Just wait till the light turns red.
Yeah, that's pretty pointless. That's pretty defeating the purpose of the crossing guard. Crossing guards are one of those groups of people, and I will not name the others, who have a power trip and the need to control others because they either peaked in high school or just have a superiority complex. And
It
crossing
wasn't
guard
even that kind of
is
thing,
one of
though.
those
I didn't
positions.
get that. I just think it was a bad read. I think
I
the
agree.
crossing
No,
guard made a bad
that
read.
specific one, but in general, that's the vibe I get from crossing guards. Also, I don't know if it's a ratless, my roommate Brian, who just kept clowning me for being a Brentford fan yesterday as we were reading this book, because Brentford not mentioned one single time in the book about the Premier League, and this
Maybe in
went
the
up to like
sequel.
2017. No, they won't. Brentford was in like non-league football until like 07, so like they have had like a crazy rise
Yes.
up into the Premier League. But there was a chapter in the book about Leicester City, the season they won, and I turned to everybody. I'm like, probably never gonna happen again, except for Brentford, and then it won't happen again.
Can you
And
imagine betting Leicester City to win the league in 2016?
insane,
Like, if I had a
5,000
time
to 1,
machine, that would be what I'd do. Like, just go
5,000 to
back,
1.
house on Leicester City to win the league.
But Brentford plays in an hour, and I'm very excited to watch them. They got Fulham, to which all of my roommates said, "You're definitely going to lose." And I said, "I think it's a winnable game because it is. Like Fulham's good, but they're not that good. Like it's winnable." I'm not
Do you
saying
know
Brentford
who's
will
the
be
best right
favored.
now? You know who's on the top.
Get over yourself, bro. All right.
It's nice, man. Manchester City lost this weekend. Doesn't ever
Dude.
happen.
Why is Forrest good? For what? For what fucking reason is Forrest good?
Could be said about the Warriors or the Nets.
But I guess, but like Nottingham Forest, it's different in the Premier League, and you know it is. Like it is.
Yeah,
wild
it's more
that
like
they're out there.
baseball. There's no salary cap. It's just who's richest.
Exactly. Nottingham Forest is not one of those teams, but Brentford's sitting in 11th. They win today. They'll jump up to tied for 7th, which I would be very pleased with because all I want is to be better than one of my roommates / friends' favorite teams. That's all I want.
Bar is
That's
the
my
floor.
only
I
goal.
love bar is the floor situations.
So my Danny and Ethan are Liverpool fans, so that's out. Just they're not going to be better than Liverpool, right? Ryan is a Chelsea fan, which also seems very unlikely that Brentford will be better than. Not going to get there. However, Brian is a Spurs fan and Mike is a Newcastle fan, which I think both are somewhat attainable. Newcastle more so than the other. That's all I want. My dream of dreams is for them to finish in top 5 one season and qualify for the Champions / UEFA. But again, no, it's very unlikely. Realistically, I am just pleased that they have stayed up for 4 years at this point because all signs would have pointed them to going back down. But I unfortunately feel like the wheels might come off in the next few years because Tony's gone. It wouldn't surprise me if Mbumo gets picked up by a bigger club because he's nasty and some other guys as well. So we'll see. I'm go Bees. That's all I'll say. I don't got anything
I don't
else.
have anything else.
Yeah. Cool.
Not that
All
I'm
right.
going to share on the show. No, I have an
All right.
excellent like friend story that I'm just not going to do. But
Sure,
I'm sorry,
sure.
everyone. This is just I'm going to shut up because there's no point in me saying it.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of Celtics versus Hawks. We don't know what we think yet. We'll know when the video goes up. We would appreciate very much if you hit the bell too, because Jack and I are here every morning with new stuff. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are up in between to keep you up to date on all things Celtics. You can also find all pods and game recaps on Spotify and Apple. If you want those, you can just put them right in your feed by hitting the follow button. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. If you do that, we'll read them on the pod. You saw us read RJ's today. So get those thoughts in. I'm sure you have something to say about Celtics-Hawks, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's. For Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's just the name of the pod. Our streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JackSimone NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.